very lovely good evening once again, and welcoming everyone for this particular class and especially for this particular session. When we last time finished off, in fact our session was still on at that time, to be very honest with you, but I could not take another session due to some technical flaws. So that is in continuation of actually what we did last time. And last time we were discussing the branch account, and we had a discussion regarding the initial theoretical concepts, correct? So after what we call taking cognizance of the initial part of the branch, where we stopped our discussion discussing the what we call data system, if you remember. So we are continuing from that particular point. So when we stopped the last session, we had what we call promise that we are going to actually take the accounting aspects, and so in the next session, which is today's first session, in fact, we are going to discuss the accounting aspects of what we call data system, correct? So if you are ready, then I too, and at the same time, let me actually just fix up my pen and everything. So by that time, actually open down your register, and we are going to discuss the accounting aspects, correct? So accounting aspects of data system. Accounting aspects. This is the topic, first topic of today's session. Accounting aspects. Accounting aspects. And as far as accounting aspects are concerned, we are going to discuss accounting aspects of data system, correct? Data system. Accounting aspects of data system, correct? So by now we are well familiar with the fact that data system is a part of dependent branches. Data system is generally adopted by organizations having limited scale of operations and limited scale of their needs. So that is the reason actually they do not go for very vast system of accounting. So they pick up what we call data system, whereby the entire accounting is done in the books of head office. And if you remember, actually head office with respect to branch maintains just about a branch account and only one ledger, that is known as sales ledger. And by now you are well familiar with the fact that sales ledger basically means actually that accounts of credit customers. In other words, we may say actually that in the books of head office, only branch account is maintained and debtors account is maintained. So we are going to carry that particular discussion in this particular session also, correct? So now we start the discussion. As far as accounting aspects are concerned, one, we have already seen that entire accounting is done in the books of head office. So first of all, I will write here in the books of head office. In the books of head office, correct? In the books of head office. Since entire accounting is done in the books of head office, so we are writing here in the books of head office. Entire accounting is done in the books of head office. We have also seen that head office in its books is going to prepare branch account and branch debtors account. So I will write a branch account. So head office will prepare the branch account. In the books of head office, branch account is prepared. So we are preparing now branch account. Branch account, correct? Besides branch account, actually branch debtors are also prepared. So we are going to write now branch debtors. Branch debtors. In the books of head office, with respect to branch, only branch account and branch debtors accounts are prepared by the head office, correct? It means it's an incomplete accounting system. Why? I need not require to tell you, because full-fledged accounting is not being done. Very limited accounts are being prepared, correct? Because needs are limited. That is the reason actually it is often called as incomplete accounting system. Now, how the accounting is done we are trying to actually find out now. See here actually, in a particular accounting year, possible transactions which may take place between head office and branch office are, there is an head office. We presume that head office is in Delhi, correct? We are presuming that head office is in Delhi. We further presume that branch office is located quite far away, say in Bangalore or Bengaluru, whatever you may like to write. Now it's quite a distance from head office, which is in Delhi, and branch is in Bangalore, so we have seen. Now how the accounting is done. First of all, you always presume yourself to be the chief accountant of the head office. That is the best way to actually understand the concepts and the ideologies of accounting. Now, the first and foremost transaction which we often would face later on is that, suppose head office this year has sent goods to branch. We have already seen that under data system, all the goods requirement of the branch shall be met by the head office, isn't it or not? That means branch is not allowed to purchase goods of their own actually. In fact, entire policy decision and framework will be in the hands of the head office. So head office will send the goods to the branch. Now what entry we would write in that particular case? Since you are the accountant of the head office, an entire accounting is being done in the books of head office. So what entry you are going to pass when head office will send goods to branch? Your entry will be branch account debit to goods sent to branch account. Remember one thing, you need not require to pass down the entries. That is just for the sake of understanding. So whenever head office will send goods to branch, head office will post an entry, branch office account debit to goods sent to branch account. So that is the reason actually that on the debit side of branch account, we shall write to goods sent to branch account. I am using the short form, goods sent to branch account. Is it clear? So whenever the goods would be sent, you are going to write that on the debit side of branch account, simply because of the fact is that you are passing down this particular entry. Now, we take another case. Next case is goods return. We would see often later on while solving the question that this transaction would be given to us goods returned by branch. Goods returned by branch means whatever goods have been sent by head office to branch, branch did not find those goods, what we call in proper condition, and branch returned them back to what we call head office. Now there could be another possible reason for such returns actually. I have already told you that we are presuming the entire case on the condition that head office is in Delhi and branch is in Bangalore. It's quite a fair bit of distance actually. By train it consumes near about 36 hours and by flight it consumes near about 2 hours and 45 minutes. So it's quite a distance, isn't it or not? We are in central India, you are in what we call South India at this moment. So if I would send goods to what we call Bangalore branch account, what happens actually, sometimes goods reach the destination in such a mutilated condition that branch manager might feel actually that he won't be able to dispose these goods at a price which is expected of him. So it is better in that case that he should return the goods back to the head office. So that is the basic reason actually why often branch returns goods to head office. So whenever branch will return the goods back to head office, what you will simply do, you will simply revert the earlier entry and your entry will be goods sent to branch account debit to branch account. Because you have now reverted the entry, you have now simply made an opposite entry. Is it clear? So as per this entry, now you are going to write onto the credit side of your branch account, buy goods sent to branch, in bracket you are going to write returns if you want to show returns, and in the outer column you will write the amount, correct? So that is the reason actually goods sent to branch returns are posted to the credit side because of this particular entry. you need to understand also at this, especially when you are pursuing a very high level of professional course, that why it happens. I told you actually that sometime goods reach the destination in such a mutilated condition that branch manager finds that he won't be able to dispose them off at a price which is expected of him. So he plays a safe game. In order to escape the scoldings of the head office, he simply returns the goods back to the head office. Now, last time when we had a discussion, we also discussed the point that all the expenses of the branch are met by head office. What does it mean? It means actually whatever expenses branch will have to incur, cash will be sent by the head office. Suppose it is given in the question that head office sent cash to branch for expenses. So what will be the entry? Entry is simple. Branch is receiving. For branch personal account, debit the receiver. Branch office account debit to cash account, which is a real account. Correct? So that is the reason actually you are going to pass down this particular entry. Now there is a very simple way of doing the accounting. I have already told you that you presume yourself to be the accountant of the head office. The simple way of doing the accounting is that actually, that if you are going to get imparted with anything, you are going to post it onto the debit side. If you are going to receive anything from the branch, you simply post it to the credit side. You got it? If you are going to get imparted with anything, you are going to put it onto the debit side. And if you are going to receive anything from the branch, you will simply put it onto the credit side. That is yet another simple way of doing the branch accounting. Correct? So, if it is given to us in the question that head office has sent some cash to branch to meet various expenses of the branch such as advertising, insurance, wages, salaries, etc. So, cash will be written on the debit side of branch account. Why? It should become clear to you. When we had a discussion last time actually, while discussing the various traits of the data system actually, I told you at that time that basic task of the branch manager is to collect as much cash as possible and send it back to head office. What does it mean? Just pay attention. Suppose branch office in the current accounting year has made cash sales worth rupees 6 lakhs and credit sales worth rupees 5 lakhs. Correct? It is quite obvious that amount of cash sales will be received immediately. Receipt of cash. If branch has made a cash sales to the extent of 6 lakhs, so branch will immediately receive cash worth rupees 6 lakh. Now, as far as credit sales are concerned, say branch has made a credit sales to the extent of 5 lakh, but by the end of this accounting year, branch could collect from debtors only rupees 4 lakhs. So total cash collected by branch manager on account of cash sales and on account of cash from debtors. Correct? So total cash collected by branch manager is 10 lakh. Now what branch manager would do? Branch manager will simply remit this cash to head office. Now you are receiving what we call something. I have already told you, if you are going to receive something, you are going to post it to the credit side of branch account. Anyway, if you intend to write the entry for remittances, this is the fourth one. Remittances means amount sent by branch manager on account of cash sales and cash receipt from debtors to head office. So your entry will be remittances account debit to branch office account. Remittances account debit to branch office account. Remittances is a pretty wide word. Actually, it encompasses both cash sales and cash receipt from debtors. Is it clear to you? So, if head office is going to receive something from branch, obviously branch account will be credited and we are going to write on the credit side by remittances. This is the term we will use so often. As I have already given you a hint that remittances has two significant components. One is cash sales. One is cash sales and another one is cash received from debtors. Cash from debtors. Cash from debtors. Cash from debtors, not credit sales. Don't write credit sale. Cash from debtors. So, in the imaginary case, branch collected 10 lakh and sent back to head office. So, head office will receive from the branch. So, remittances will figure here. So, most of the time actually, during a particular accounting period, we would find ourselves facing such transactions which are cropping up between head office and branch account. Correct? Now, it is quite obvious that at the end of the year, some balances might be left off with branch. So, where those balances are written, you will move to the credit side of the branch account and you will write closing balances here. Most of the time, you will find that branch is having some closing stock. So, you are going to write closing stock here. Closing stock. Similarly, you will find debtors. You will write debtors here. Correct? Now, these are the closing balances, but before that, actually, let me make it clear. What we mean by stock. A stock means, say here, you have sent so many goods this year. So it could be a very much possibility that by the end of this accounting year or current accounting year, some of these goods might have remained unsold. So stock means actually leftover stock out of goods sent. Is it clear to you? Now debtors. Just pick up the imaginary case which I just took a while ago actually. Just a while ago I told you that credit sales are 5 lakh but we could collect only 4 lakh by the end of this particular accounting year. So it means by the end of this accounting year, 1 lakh will be left with the branch in the form of debtors, isn't it or not? So that is what we mean by closing balances. Now what will happen? Next year, when you will start the branch account, these closing balances will appear as opening balances. Likewise, in the current case, there could be a very much possibility that last year you would have had some balances, so you would bring them down now, correct? So opening balances brought down. So generally in the branch account, we would find actually items appearing this way round. So opening stock, possible balance, then debtors, possible balance. I'm not saying that only these two balances are possible. Besides, there could be any other balance, but just to simplify the model, I am taking two opening balances. So that is how actually branch account is prepared, correct? Similarly, I have already told you head office will simultaneously prepare what we call a branch debtors account because head office keeps track of even the credit transaction which have been entered into by the branch with its customer, correct? Now most of you are well familiar with the fact that how branch debtors account is prepared. It's an asset, so opening balance of debtors is obviously written down here and closing balance will figure here. Closing balance carried down will be written here. Branch debtors. Debtors is an asset without an iota of doubt. So if we are going to make credit sales, what will happen? Debtor will increase or decrease? Debtors will obviously increase. So an increase in asset must be debited. So if branch will make credit sales, branch debtors will increase. Similarly, if branch will receive some cash from the debtors, the debtors balance will decrease, and that is the reason actually that cash from debtors shall be put onto the credit side as it would reduce the debit balance of branch debtors. Cash received from debtors. See, remember last time actually when we were discussing the what we call characteristics of debtor system, at that time I told you debtor system is a part of dependent branches. I also specified that under what we call dependent branches, entire control and authority is in the hands of the head office. In fact, all the major policy decision rests in the hands of the head office. Branch is just expected to execute what we call those decisions and policy framework to the best of their abilities and maximize the sales amount. No doubt about that. In spite of that, actually, I will like to add something new. Even though I had said in the last session that complete authority is in the hands of the head office, but I would like to modify it a little bit. No doubt that complete authority is in the hands of the head office. In spite of that, branch is generally given some leeway. Leeway means some freedom. L-E-E-W-A-Y. I have already told you I am not backtracking from that particular statement that entire authority, entire control, entire policy making decisions rest in the hands of the head office. But in spite of that, branch is given some leeway, some freedom, some liberty. With respect to what? With respect to sales. It is allowed to the branch that you can have your own sales policy. Is it clear to you? For example, head office will tell to branch, we would like you to sell the goods minimum at the rate of 100, but at the same time, we will not prohibit branch from selling the goods at 120. And we will also give the freedom to branch that in order to maximize their sales, you can also give some incentive marketing programs. For example, branch is allowed to what we call take decisions like giving discount. Is it clear? So even though entire policy framework is in the hands of the head office, in spite of that, branch is given some liberty, some freedom with respect to their own what we call sales policy. Is it clear to you? For example, branch may take unilateral decision of giving discount to the customer without asking from the head office. Is it clear to you? So, why I am saying so? Because often branch will give discount to the debtors in order to make them pay early. Discount is generally given to the debtors so that they pay before the stipulated date. So that is the reason actually discount will be put onto the credit side of debtors account. Often debtors will default and bad debts will take place. No doubt about that. It will reduce the branch debtors balance, and that is the reason actually bad debts will appear on the credit side. Similarly, often we would see that debtors are returning the goods. Please don't get confused. Actually, right in the beginning, I would like to actually clarify it. There are two types of return actually we would face while solving the question. Head office sends goods to branch. Correct? Head office sends goods to branch. So there is a possibility that branch may return the goods to head office. If branch will return the goods back to head office, it will appear in the branch account onto the credit side in the form of goods sent to branch returns. Correct? On the other hand, if branch has actually sold goods to its customer, so it could be a very much possibility that customer may not find those goods on their expected lines, and customer may return those goods to what we call debtors. So in that case, it would be called sales return. If customer would return the goods back to the branch, then it will be termed as what we call sales return. Sales return basically means goods returned by credit customers. Correct? And as you are well aware of the fact that sales return generally comes on the opposite side of credit sales. So that is the reason actually that sales return will figure here. Sales returns. Is it clear to you? So that is how actually branch debtors is prepared. Correct? If you will allow me, then, well, I am not rubbing off. Actually, I was about to say that I am going to rub it off. Correct? Or you allow me to rub it off now? Well, with your permission, I am rubbing it off. Without an iota of doubt, you must have seen several times actually branch account is prepared this way, debtors account is prepared this way, no doubt. And most of this time, You would also find that teaching fraternity and textbooks both simply say that now you have prepared the branch account, tally it, and you will get the net profit, and you become very happy. Why you become very happy? Because most of you are well concerned only with one thing. Well, sir, we have learned the art of solving the question. That's enough and it will fetch us mark. So you will have to change your outlook that way round actually. It is not a question of learning the art of just and solving the question. You need to understand actually, first of all, especially, time again I keep on telling actually that you are pursuing a very high profile course, professional course. It's not an ordinary course, and you must not be an ordinary what we call learners of accounts. Your mind horizon should be very, very wide, and it must actually trap the unexplored territories. Little bit high vocabulary, no doubt about that, but at the same time, still I would like to focus you here. What I said is that most of us feel actually very happy the moment actually we learn that we are able to compute the net profit. That's all. Our focus and our discussion ends down over here because we think virtually ourselves as the king because we are now in a position to solve the question, that's all. And tomorrow actually when we face the interview and the interviewer simply ask us, you prove us how it is net profit, then we all find ourselves absolutely at sea. At sea means virtually helpless, isn't it or not? Because we never paid attention actually how this particular profit has been arrived at. Anyway, we have just discussed the general thing. Now we will move over to the unexplored and unheard what we call aspects of branch debtors account. So please pay attention. We are trying to actually enhance your knowledge dossier and your knowledge both. See here, it is easier said than done that it is net profit, no doubt about that. Even a class 3rd student will understand the moment I will prepare a format before him and I will tell that the balancing figure will be net profit. So even a class 3rd student will be able to understand it's a net profit. But the point is that how it is net profit. My first point is that. Second point is that you must pay attention that when I prepared both these formats actually, I have written date, discount, bad debts, sales return, credit sales in the branch debtors account, but all these items are missing here. So sometime actually we get confused. What's this happening? Why these items are appearing only in the branch debtors account and why not these items are appearing in the branch account? This is one confusion. Second confusion is with respect to cash received from debtors. Now cash received from debtors is appearing here also, and at the same time it is appearing in the branch account. So sometimes it gives a very confusing what we call analysis to the student unless the student is well clarified why it is happening. So I will try my level best to erase out your such doubts. So please pay attention now. You must understand one thing. In the entire what we call branch accounting, there are 3 parties involved. In the entire branch accounting, 3 parties are concurrently, simultaneously involved. The 3 parties are head office, branch office, and customers. Is it clear to you? I have told you, and you have listened to me, and try to actually not to let it escape out of your memory, that 3 parties shall always involve in the entire branch accounting. One is head office, second one is branch, and third one, of course, is your customers. So pay attention. Any transaction which takes place between head office and branch office, correct, will always come in the branch account. If a transaction is taking between you and your friend, why will I record that? If a transaction is taking between you and I, then why the third person will record that? You are getting my point or not? So it is as simple as if we are going to look at from a close angle, the things will automatically crystallize into clarity that transactions which are taking place between head office and branch office will never ever appear in branch debtors. They can appear only in branch account. Number 1. Number 2, transactions which are taking place between branch office and branch customers. Transactions which take place between branch office and branch customers, could they ever appear in what we call branch account? Now you are in a position to deliver the answer, and with that your confusion should what we call get wiped out permanently. Is it clear to you or not? So such transactions which take place between branch and branch customer will never be recorded in the branch account, which is being prepared by head office. Is it clear to you? Transactions which are taking place between branch office and branch customer will appear only in branch debtors account. Remember one thing, credit sales, discount, bad debts and sales transaction. These transactions are taking place between branch office and branch customers. So that is the reason actually they come down, they are presented only in branch debtors account. Is it clear to you or not? Now, if it is clear to you, now we come over to the second point. Second point is that cash receipt from debtor is appearing here and simultaneously its presence is seen here. Now the question is why? It is as simple as that. We need to collaborate our discussions of the last session with this one. If you remember, in the last session I talked about this particular fact, that basic task of the branch manager is what? To collect cash and send it back to the head office. This is the basic task of the branch, and often I would say branch manager. Is it clear to you? Cash is being collected by the branch manager and this is being sent back to head office. So in this transaction, all the parties are involved. So that is the reason actually that this particular transaction is flashed in the branch debtors account and it is also presented in the branch accounts. Is it clear to you or not? Is it clear? So these are the areas of concern which we used to give actually lots of confusion at our earlier phase of education, but now such confusion should not stay what we call with you. Now we come over to another point, and that's a very, very significant and formidable point, so please pay attention over it. To be very honest with you, especially after 20 years of life in this particular educational trade, I keep on actually meeting with what we call several high-profile guys who are well associated with several companies, and they keep on telling me actually so-and-so questions were asked. So if this question would have been tossed towards you, pointing towards me, would you have been able to deliver the answer? I should be very honest to you in this case that even with respect to some question, even I find myself, as I said earlier, using the phrase at sea. But I do not want you to actually face such situations, so be alert. So that is the reason that we need not require to do only the superficial studies. That is the reason I always keep on harping upon the same string. Do you know the what we call meaning of this phrase? Harping upon the same string means repeating the same wordings time and again. I keep on telling you that our what we call horizon of teaching should be much wider, deeper, and what we call deeper. So that is the reason that we have to dig deep. See here, it is simpler to say that it is net profit. But to be very honest with you, it is not easy to prove that how we have been able to derive the net profit simply by writing some items on the credit side and some item on the debit side. Suppose if I simply ask you actually, or simply say, it is not a net profit, it is something else. So how will you prove me that it's the net profit? So that is the reason we need to understand actually that how we have been able to derive net profit here. Second point, you have never paid attention towards this particular aspect. In fact, that is not your fault. Don't worry about that. But we need to what we call look at from close angle. See here, have you ever heard that balance of one particular account is written in some particular account? Have you ever seen here? Have you ever seen that balance of debtor is being written in land account? It is not possible. It is never ever possible. It is violation of rules. Then how come we are simply and blindly writing down, and you are listening to me also? Correct? I told you that we are going to write stock balance and debtors balance down here. But the problem is actually, why would you accept? In fact, I know actually you are going to accept everything, whatever I am going to say, but the main point you try to understand is that the first violation is that. So, is it possible in accounts that you are writing the debit balance of debtors in what we call land account? Is it possible to write the balance of furniture in expense account? That is not at all possible. So how come it is possible that we are saying stock and debtors balance is written in branch account and we are with a large-heartedness telling you that it's the net profit? No. We must understand the intricacies. See here. Logically speaking, to write balance of a particular account in some other account is a violation of rule. But in spite of that, we are writing down here and we are finding out the net profit. So this is one area of concern which I will explain you why and how. Don't worry about that. If I'm raising the questions before you, I will definitely answer them also. But my first point is that basic controversy is that it is not allowed, as far as accounting principles are concerned, to write a particular balance of a particular account in some other account. That is not possible. In spite of that, we have written here. This is one concern. Second concern is that how this particular account is reflecting profit. Because logically, in accounts, it is not possible to compute profit unless and until we have the amount of sales. Unless we have the amount of sales, that is cash sales and credit sales, unless I have amount of cash sales, unless I have amount of credit sales, correct? Unless I have cost of goods sold, and unless I have cash expenses and non-cash expenses. To be very honest with you, unless and until I have got figures with respect to all these items, I cannot arrive at the net profit. Cash expense, non-cash expense, like depreciation. In accounts, logically, you cannot compute any profit of any enterprise or, for that instance, any entity unless you have the complete sales figure, you have the amount of cost of goods sold, and you have what we call cash expense and non-cash expense. So how is it possible that this particular account is showing us what we call net profit? The big question is this. So we have to now trace down the answers to all the controversy. So please pay attention. Suppose I am very hungry, correct? I am very hungry because I didn't take the breakfast and I am very hungry. Presuming I am walking on the streets of Bengaluru rather than Delhi. Obviously, no problem. I like Bangalore very much. Now, suddenly I feel that I should visit one 5-star hotel, say Windsor Manor. That is, I think, I have forgotten now because I left Bangalore in 1986. I think it's Windsor Manor is near Jayanagar. I have forgotten. Don't worry about that. Suppose it's a 5-star hotel. I want to actually go down to a 5-star hotel, but first of all, why I want to go? Because my mission is to actually cool down my stomach because I'm very, very hungry. As I was about to move towards the 5-star hotel, suddenly I realized my pocket is not allowing me. I'm not a rich fellow, I am a poor fellow. Now what I will do? My ultimate mission is, as I told casually, is to satisfy my hunger, to cool down my stomach. Now, what will I do? If I can't go to a 5-star hotel, the next possible, what we call alternative is that I can move to a street vendor, I can eat dosa or something else, cheaper food. Suppose I go down to a what we call sideways street vendor, I take dosa, and within what we call, say, 50-60 rupees, I am able to what we call satisfy my hunger. That is a much cheaper aspect for me rather than spending what we call 5,000 rupees for one course of meal. That was not possible for me. So I took an alternative route which was affordable for me. Are you getting my point or not? Try to what we call focus over the wordings, which was affordable for me. 5-star was out of reach. It was beyond my reach. It was unaffordable. I could not have gone to 5-star hotel and what we call churn down 500 rupees because I was having only 50 rupees in my pocket. So best course of alternative for me, as per my affordability, is to what we call go to a street vendor on the sideways, eat dosa and satisfy my hunger. But the fact of the matter is that when I visited the street vendor, I found actually a lot of what we call flies down over there. It's quite unhygienic. Logically, you should not eat at a what we call in an unhygienic place. Rule generally says that. Correct? But my mission was to satisfy my hunger. I had to do it in spite of knowing that I should use a hygienic place. I should use a what we call clean space. But I didn't have the alternative. You are getting my point or not? Similar is the what we call situation here. This is a small organization. It cannot afford a full-fledged double entry system. You might be not knowing about this particular fact. You simply use the word double entry very casually, almost like a cup of coffee. No, my dear students, my dear friends, to adopt a double entry accounting system, comprehensive double entry accounting system, to be very honest with you, it is not a cup of coffee for every organization. It requires huge amount of investments. It requires what we call huge amount of, as I said, what we call capital. It requires time. It requires calibered people. It requires lots of technology, especially in the context of today's time. So that is virtually unaffordable for what we call a small organization. There are many companies, many big companies in India. India, I think most probably at this moment is the 4th largest number as far as what we call industrial state is concerned. There are many companies in India operating down. And you will be surprised to hear that most of them are not using comprehensive double entry system. Why? Because it is a costly affair. It requires huge amount of capital, investment, time. So, you must understand this particular aspect, that this organization is a small one because we are following data system. Its needs are limited. It cannot afford to visit 5-star hotel, that is, it cannot afford to have a comprehensive double entry accounting system. So the best course of alternative for it is that within its limit, it should frame out some policy so that it can compute its net profit. Now see how it is computing the net profit. Correct? Without going for double entry system, that I will prove to you. See here. Now, one by one I am going to give what we call entire explanation to the questions which I raised myself. My first question was that logically it is wrong to show a particular account in some other account. Correct? I will give you the explanation for the same. And second, I will obviously let you know that how we have arrived at net profit. Is it clear to you? So pay attention now. Suppose if I ask you a very simple question. Now pay complete, comprehensive and unwavering attention. Now my first question is this account, branch account, which is on your screen, is it showing credit sales? Give me the answer. You have got what we call, say 30 seconds. We are playing KBC for a while now. 30 seconds you have. Is this branch account is showing credit sales or not? My question is this. Well, I am going to read the items for you. Stock, debtors, goods sent to branch, cash expenses, cash sales. It is not credit sale. It is cash from debtors, goods sent to branch returns and these accounts. So obviously some of you might say yes and some of you might say no. Logically this account is not showing credit sales because I have not written credit sales anywhere in this particular account. Now the question is, Now the question is, if credit sales are not being written over here, how come we are arriving at the net profit? This is something to dwell about. This is something to think about. So pay attention. I will prove you that even though we haven't written here credit sale specifically, but disguisedly credit sales are appearing here. How credit sales are appearing here? So please pay attention. Suppose your opening debtors are 100 lakhs or say 10 lakhs. Correct? This is the opening balance in the debtors account. Just presume for a while. Further presuming that in the current accounting year, branch incurred credit sales worth rupees 100 lakhs. So we will write it onto the debit side of debtors account, isn't it or not? Now, total debtors are worth rupees 110 lakh. Hope each one of you would agree with me, isn't it or not? So if you are going to agree with me, I further presume that out of 110 lakh, branch debtors repaid 90 lakhs to us. Now, if total debtors are 110 lakh and 90 has been received, now what's the closing balance? Please let me know within a flick of a second. 20, absolutely. So 20 lakh is the closing balance. Now please pay attention. Now suppose I erase this amount from here. This is credit sales 100 lakhs. Suppose I write here only 3 items: opening balance, closing balance and cash received from debtors. The difference of these 3 items will deliver the amount of credit sale, isn't it or not? So now you got 2 answers. What are those answers? See here. We have written the opening debtors here. We have written what we call closing debtors here. And we have written cash received from debtors onto the credit side. The difference of these 3 items is nothing but your credit sales. So the answer to the first question is that we have written here credit sales, but not directly, indirectly. Now you may ask me actually, sir, why we are not writing directly here? My dear students, actually I have already told you it's not a comprehensive double entry system. It's an incomplete accounting system. Branch is not preparing any other account. If I would have been preparing separate sales ledger, separate what we call sales account, then I would have had easily written the entire amount of what we call sales. So that is the reason. Try to understand. This branch is not in a position to spend heavy money because it's a costly affair. So within its limited means, it will try to do manifold tasks. Is it clear to you? As was the case with me when I was very hungry. So I could not visit the 5-star hotel. I thought it better to visit what we call a nearby street vendor, knowing very well that logically it is wrong to eat on the sideways because generally it is considered as unhygienic. Correct? Similar is the case is with the branch. Branch knows that it is wrong to write some other account balance in other account. But why branch is writing the opening debtors and closing debtors here? Now it should become clear to you in order to somehow bring the amount of credit sales in this account. You got the answer to this riddle or not actually? So that is the beauty of this particular what we call topic. So if we are going to look at from what we call very deeply, so we can get many new interesting and enchanting facets. So now you should understand that in spite of the fact that it is generally against the rules, in spite of that, we are violating the rules just because within our limited parameters, we want to have our what we call performance result in the form of net profit. Is it clear? So you have got 2 answers. One, basic reason of writing the debtors here is somehow to bring into this account the amount of credit sales. So it means this account is showing amount of credit sales, but indirectly. Is it clear? Now, my another question is this account showing cash sales? Yes, sir. Yes, because we have written cash sales here. So it means we have written in the branch account total sales. You got it? Now you are developing the interest. So it's really very interesting and fascinating because now we are understanding the deeper aspects, isn't it? Now my second question is, have we written the amount of cost of goods sold in this account? No, sir, we are unable to find it out. Well, you are right. We haven't written anywhere cost of goods sold. But without bringing the cost of goods sold here, I cannot what we call arrive at my net profit. So I will have to bring it down here. So answer to second question, why we have written here balances of stock? Because we want to bring the cost of goods sold into this account. See here, pay attention how we have brought in cost of goods sold here. Now you presume yourself as the branch and I am the head office, correct? You are branch. You have opening stock worth rupees, say 100 lakhs, correct? Just presume, no problem. Myself, that is head office, sent goods sent to branch. Let us say in the current year, I send goods worth rupees 400 lakhs to you. Since you are the branch, you are receiving from me, you presume it as a sort of purchases from the head office. There is no harm in presuming it as purchases. Is it clear? So now you have got 500 lakhs worth of goods. Now say, out of 500 lakhs worth of goods, 50 lakhs worth of goods did not come up to your satisfaction, you returned them. No problem. Still you have 450 lakhs worth of goods. Now, suppose at the end of the year, you have 150 lakhs as closing stock of goods. What does it mean? It means out of 450, 300 worth of goods have been sold out. Of course, that is the cost price. This is cost of goods sold. You had 500 worth of goods costing with you. Out of that, you returned 50. So now you are left up with 450 worth of cost price of goods. Now at the end of the year, your stock sheet shows that you are having 150 worth of stock at the end. What does it mean? It means actually the goods which you sold, their cost was 300. So now you must understand the significance of writing goods sent to branch, opening stock, goods sent to returns and closing stock. So if tomorrow somebody asks you actually, what does it reflect? Why you are doing that? Why you are writing them here? So you should have one concrete, straight and brief answer. The answer is simple, because we want to bring down in this particular account cost of goods sold. Is it clear to you or not? Now you must understand actually what's the beauty of this particular system. Even though we are not comprehending the double entry accounting system, in spite of that, within our limited parameters, we are doing multiple tasks. It is virtually what we call like killing two birds with one stone. Isn't it or not? With one stone, in fact, you are killing here several birds. You should not kill birds. What my point is that you are achieving several objectives with what we call one parameter. Is it clear? So that is the beauty. So now you have understood that we have written here cost of goods sold and why we have written the balances of opening stock and closing stock in this particular account. Is it clear to you? Now the next point is easy to comprehend because cash expenses we do write here. Now how to bring non-cash expenses such as depreciation. Suppose a particular branch is having opening balance in the form of plant, correct? Opening balance in the form of plant. Let us say opening balance is 100 lakhs, just presume for a while. And say this particular firm wants to provide 10% depreciation. Now I will write closing balance of plant and I will write 100 minus 10, 90. So when I am writing 100 here and closing balance 90, what I am doing actually is that I am simply bringing down the amount of depreciation. Now you should not raise this particular question that sir, why we can't actually simply write depreciation here. Now you are matured enough to understand actually, because right from the beginning I am telling you, in this system we do not prepare any other account. If we were preparing other accounts, then no problem would have arisen. And you would have escaped of listening to such a great discussion. No doubt about that. So, if tomorrow somebody asks you how this particular account is showing you net profit, only you and only you are aware of this particular answer. Is it clear? I hope. I have seen most of the students actually, they never write about the what will quality of the teaching actually. I would eagerly await with bated breath actually that how the quality of teaching is actually, how you are feeling about it. Of course, when I say that doesn't mean actually that you should praise unendingly. Sometimes your what we call views are very, very important for us to improve, no doubt about it. And as the saying goes actually, that improvement has got no limit. So we would definitely be looking forward for your views and of course for your response. With that actually we are coming to the end of this particular session, and we will continue in the next session today itself within short while. So you take actually 2 minutes of rest. I'm going to close down this particular session and we are going to start it again all over. So till then it's goodbye.